Yo, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chuck. Thank you very much for being here. Happy Monday, my friends. Happy Monday. I'm glad we are all surviving this market crash. And I apologize for my absence a little bit this past week. Been a bit sick, but definitely feeling much better now. So we're going to get right into it. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to give my thoughts as to where I think things could go, things that we can expect as far as product releases and set releases are concerned. Um, we're going to start today with Mega Evolution. Still a ton of support for the set. Prices are holding pretty steady on the sealed side. Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box is sitting around 250. The booster box has seen a little bit of a dip to about 300, like 290 in local markets, something like that. But the cards are holding pretty good value. The gold cards are still doing very, very well, holding well above $600, I would say, in most cases. And these are getting swiped up at card shows. People are rushing to grade them. Same with the SARs. Mega Gardevoir still over 300. The Venusaur, the Lucario, all holding a lot of value still. And I think it's a great set. This is a set that I would love to get more of as far as booster boxes go. I don't feel willing to pay $300 for this box that's brand new, where I think we could get better mega sets in the future. I have to imagine at least a couple of them will be. So I don't know. It's a fantastic set. Prices are holding pretty steady. We'll see what happens once we get more product, but the demand is still there. We have to talk about Phantasmal Flames because pre-orders, pre-sales on eBay are still raging, which is insane. 275 for the UPCs. If you were lucky to get them on Walmart the other day, congrats. Bundles, ETBs, PCTB selling for about $300 pre-sale. Remember, all these prices will go down after release. We are expected to get a lot of the UPCs too. Booster boxes, 338, but I have seen some other LGSs sell them for around 250. So I am curious to see what will happen with the actual supply. And you've been around and you've been watching videos, listening to people's opinions. People are saying that supply was slashed, but I'm not sure that's actually true. And I'm certainly not going to buy before the set is actually released anyway. The Charizard SAR, tons of sales, 600 plus in Japanese. Imagine what English is going to be for this card. It's going to be very expensive, very desired. Everybody's going to want this. And by the way, the cracked ice border rules. I'm a big fan of that. It just looks fantastic. A little bit of texture to the card, as opposed to just, like a boring border. Yeah, pretty cool. The gold card selling for quite a bit as well. I think similarly priced, actually, or maybe a little bit more. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ever wondered what your collection is worth? Well, the Shiny app is here to help. It allows you to track all the prices of your products and updates 2 times per day. The Shiny app pulls data from both eBay and TCG Player to keep your collection's value as accurate as possible. Not to mention, it has the most seamless user interface in the game. I love using it. I love how it looks. It's so easy to use. And the best part is, it is totally free. The links are down below if you'd like to try it out. Thanks again, Shiny. Sword and Shield has seen a lot of flatness, a lot of consolidation. And I agree with a lot of other content creators' takes that, the moves up were not sustainable. We'll use Evolving Skies as kind of a main example here before we move on. But typically, historically, you can expect some flatness for many months at a time. Evolving Skies was 12 to 1300 for basically the first 5 months of the year. And actually, that is a relatively short amount of time to consolidate for a box this expensive. Now, given the bowl that we entered, I would say the peak is, somewhere around September. Like the times in between the legs up, that staircase we always talk about, they got shorter and they get shorter in a bull market. A year ago when Evolving Skies was, I guess 2 years ago at this point, crazy. when it was, you know, 400 to 600. Well, it was in that 600 to $700 price range for like 9 months, which I talked about in Saturday's video. But that is more typical, what you would see. And by the way, this is the best set of the era, basically the best booster box at least. So, you know, expect more sideways movement before the end of the year. I would imagine that there will be some type of movement by the end of the year, given the time frame. The reality is things can't move up this rapidly forever. The market has to absorb those costs, those newly increased prices. And that's what's going to happen now. You know, the market needs to absorb and accept Evolving Skies at 2,500, especially as it gets more scarce as time goes on. It's kind of the beauty of Poké investing is there's less supply as time goes on, foreseeably. So, you know, I think, like, yeah, look at the sell-through. 12 boxes in the last month. That's not a lot of sell-through. Currently 173 listed, up to 3,400. So realistically, this could still be in the 2000s, the mid 2000s by the end of the year. I still expect it to be kind of knocking on the door of, you know, a $3,000 box by the end of the year. If not early next year for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, this is a little bit of a wake-up call for investors. People who started buying this year have only experienced like massive moves up, like basically every couple of months. In reality, that's not really what happens. I do think some of the market dynamics have changed. You know, there is way more rip and shipping. Millions of packs are ripped a month just on rip and shipping. That's not including all of the regular folks, including myself, who just rip packs for fun. But yeah, I think expect some sideways movement. This time is a little bit different, but I'm definitely not expecting like a 20% drop, especially for the good sets like Fusion, still selling for around 1,000. You know, to me that screams like a pretty decent buying opportunity. Let's see, Lost Origin has seen one of the biggest hits, which I actually thought that made sense when it was pushing $900. Well, you know, we've had some sales in the 700s, and that's also consistent on eBay. But if you can get close to 700 on this box, that's going to be a good buy. But I always thought that, you know, Fusion was a step ahead of Lost Origin, and as it got closer in price, I was like, makes more sense to buy Fusion. The Charizard UPC, you know, 430. You know, this isn't going to see like massive runs up. Maybe like some booster boxes just because it has some more going on, more packs, but the promos are great. I think promos are going to cool down a bit for sure. I think cards in general will probably cool down a bit. If you go to card shows, it seems like people aren't buying singles and like big raw cards, huge slabs as much as they were before. That's totally normal. You know, the market has been raging on. It can only absorb so much liquidity for so long. But, you know, things are still relatively healthy. Prices continue to move up. But, yeah, Lost Origin, definitely a set I'll be looking at. Chilling Reign, I wanted to talk about, too. It's dropped back down to, like, 500 or so. Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, all kind of in a similar position. But I think it's a pretty good opportunity if you're interested in Sword and Shield long term. You know, you want to consolidate some collection boxes, some random products you probably bought because you were at a vending machine and you figured why not, like a surging bundle. You know, this is going to have less risk to the downside because they're out of print. So I think, honestly, pretty decent opportunity for a lot of these good Sword and Shield sets. I'm looking at Evolving. I'm looking at Fusion. For sure. Crown Zenith continues to be a fantastic investment, fantastic set. Has also seen a little bit of downwards movement. You know, it was peaking around 240. Now it's sitting around 220. Like, guys, this isn't a crash. It's just a little bit of a slowdown at the moment. I do think that there might be a little bit more pain in the future once, you know, Black Friday rolls around. Like last year, we got a ton of Sword and Shield ETBs for very cheap at Target. It was like did all the discount things, which if you were around, you remember, you got a bunch of ETBs like sub $20. Yeah, sub $20, like $15 to $17 each. That was a good time. And we also got those Tyranitar and Poleon tins with like 3 Evolving Skies each, which is how I have all those loose packs. I still have them. Happy to hold on to them too, but I'm prioritizing storage and quality. I don't mind getting loose packs, for instance, in that scenario, but those ETBs I'll be looking to probably sell at some point, or at least maybe trim a little bit because of storage and finding investments that I think are better. And that will mean basically getting better products. So selling some of these collection boxes, like I have this Lugia box, like, but Crown Zenith is a little bit different just because I think there's more potential in the quality of the set. So I'm willing to hold on to it. It's fine. Storage isn't too much of an issue for now, but yeah, it's definitely something I'm considering. Celebrations, I think, will have its day. $250 for an ETB. Saw big volume over the weekend, actually, which is pretty interesting. 28 sold. So I think it was getting closer to that 230 range, and whoever was out there, some group, I don't know, decided to buy it. But I definitely expect this to be $300 at some point in the near to midterm, the short to midterm, I should say. The PCTB, nothing too special about it. Weird shape, pretty good product, but it's going to be flat. There's not going to be a ton of like buying pressure on this, especially as it moves up in price. But it's a good product. UPC continues to march up. It's a great product. $900 is pretty steep to me. I'll be looking elsewhere personally. But if you have those, congrats. But yeah, Celebrations will have its day pretty soon, I imagine. Moving on, Paldean Fates. Still a beast, still a monster. We're getting a lot more product, though, in the Iron Treads box or whatever that's releasing on Walmart, which, if you got some of those, congrats. I was lucky to get some, so I'm pretty excited to receive those. Don't know where I'm going to put them. It's going to be a disaster, but that's a disaster I'm willing to have in my life. 280 for regular ETBs. Maybe we'll get more of these before the set's rotated out. That'd be cool. Not counting on it, but I'll definitely be there if they drop. PCTB has seen definitely a bit of a drop from 500 to selling in the low fours. It's still pretty high though, still pretty healthy. Paldean Fates is kind of in a state of flux where I think that the Walmart drop kind of shook it a little bit, and now people are speculating if there's going to be more product, and it was already at a high price anyway, like $100 for a bundle. Is a pretty decent chunk of change. So, I think there are a lot of good things to come for this set. Let's look at Bubble Mew really quick. Still selling for 600 plus, probably around $600. Quite high, but definitely a bit flat at the moment. Again, the market is a little bit exhausted. Sets keep releasing, and you're not going to be looking for like a 30% increase every month. Good this point going forward. But as far as sealed product goes, like, talk to me in March if these are cheaper. I'll give you $1 billion for April, I suppose. So yeah, looking good. Also 151, I don't have it pulled up, but pretty much everything is flat. The exact same story. Prismatic, I think, continues to be one of the best investments in the market. A lot of creators, including myself, have been saying this for weeks because you're still getting product releasing. Regular cycles of product releasing. ETBs, last month, the Costco drops, all the bundles, all the stuff, right? PCTB is still $400, but I expect this to actually start moving up this year, because every month that goes by where the Pokemon Center doesn't drop these, I think we'll just create some more buying pressure for it. So pretty interesting. Regular ETBs are, let me find the listing here, but I think they're still sitting around 130. Yeah, about 135, 130, somewhere in that range. So again, the long-term speculation, we all agree that this will move up. long term. So if you buy it at 100, 130, 90, 120, probably doesn't make too much of a difference because we all expect this to be $200, $300 in a few years' time. So yeah, and with the Pokemon Company's history of printing ETBs, like chances are they're not going to make as much as these as maybe some other products, like those dang Lucario boxes that I keep buying at Sam's Club, which I'm not mad about. But golly, how many of those am I going to have before my house is full of them? I don't know. Guess it's a good thing to complain about. The Sun Bion, I refuse to call this the Moon Bion. To me, this is the Sun Bion. I don't care. It's $1,200. Still selling quite a bit. It's insane. Mine's still being graded. I'd be lucky to get a 9. I hope I get a 9. We'll see. I'll let y'all know. But yeah, a lot of the cards still holding a lot of value despite all the packs being ripped. Still continues to be one of the most popular sets ripped on rip and chips as well. So I think it's just a perfect storm. It's unfortunate. Trying to get more of this product, you got to be on your game. Demand is still going to outpace supply for this set probably for its entire life. So it is what it is, my friends. What it is. Destined Rivals, let's take a look at. Let the page. Box. I think booster boxes are like sub 400 now. But just barely. Yeah, 375, but again, tons of volume coming in at these price points. I think investors, speculators, whoever are realizing that maybe that's the cheapest it's going to be. We had like 15,000 or so released on the Pokemon Center's website last week. If you got one, congrats. I did not. Go figure. No big deal. But the sell-through is there. 2x to 1 sell-through. Yeah. This will be $400 before you know it, probably in the next week. Destined Rivals is a beat. I actually pulled the Moltres myself, planning on getting it graded soon. Pretty excited about that. Don't hate me, okay? Elite Trainer Boxes 118. Like, this is a product I'm definitely not buying because I am almost certain we are going to be getting more Elite Trainer Boxes in the future. Costco, Walmart, you name it. Destined Rivals will see more products, booster bundles as well. But yeah, I mean, the set's a beast. It's one that you're going to want a lot of exposure to long term. My side quest is basically dead because I can't get any product because they haven't released any product for it. So, in case you're wondering, my side quest is just buy Destined Rivals, put it in a box, and it's kind of fun. But yeah, Destined Rivals, definitely what I'm looking at. We're going to switch gears to the earlier SV sets, just a couple. Now, Paradox Rift had the huge buyout, but look at the volume since then. It's like very low in the last few weeks, which means there's not a ton of demand for the set, truthfully. And we know this. Selling for about $275, like, there are much better opportunities in the market, like Surging Sparks, for instance, which I just picked up a couple more booster boxes at, which I think is a great buy. If you have the time, go check your vending machines regularly because it seems like they're spitting them out. That's going to be one of the best opportunities in this market right now. Outside of Prismatic, like Surging Sparks booster boxes, locally you can find these 225, 230, 240, 250. I think is still good, somewhere in that range. But yeah, guys, this will eventually bounce back up to 300. I bet by the end of the year, and there's a decent chance we won't get many more booster boxes of these after this kind of little wave we're experiencing. Temporal, still marching right on up with decent sales volume. Basically a $280, $290 box, which is impressive to see because it's not being rotated out in April. Cut off as Paldean Fates, so who's to say what will happen here? It's a set that people speculated was a bit short printed. I think the cards are a little bit undervalued. You can get Iron Leaves for like less than $30. Raging Bolt, Ghastly, Iron Crown, $45. Like, they're gonna go up eventually, I think. So let's finish by looking at some Probstein auctions, some recent sales here. Destined Rivals case, $127, basically $2,800. You have 9 art sets of evolving loose packs for $1,200. Very nice. Silver Tempest, a lot of 444 loose packs. Like, rip and shippers are buying, guys. They're buying and they're still selling. Probably who's in the market for that. Gold Star action, Evolving Skies, Prismatic Bundle, case for 1,000. Twilight Masquerade, 6 box case there for 2,000. That's crazy. 151 booster bundle display for 1275. That feels like an amazing deal. Maybe it's not super minty, but yeah, I think 151 booster bundle displays might be kind of a play right now. Bundles are selling for like what, $100 or something? I don't know. I might have to look into that, to be honest with you. I always thought booster bundle displays were a bit overvalued, but it's a $100 bundle, $1,300 display sealed. Not a terrible premium. Paldean Evolved still selling, $475, basically $500 booster box. Heroes, $450 plus shipping on the Paldean Fates PC. Got some more cases, Lost Origin, Color Crown, Paldean Evolved, team up packs. I almost bought like a lot of 10 of these for like 50 each a year ago. Pain. It's painful. Very painful. Bunch of loose packs being sold. Again, like Rip and Shippers are feasting on this market downturn because it's like the cheapest they can get these packs. So like, hey, don't get it twisted. People are buying these, they're ripping. And I guarantee you Sword and Shield is going to have, some moves up here in the midterm. 700 for a Lost Origin box, 441 for Brilliant Stars, not including tax or delivery. Keep that in mind. I'm aware. I got some loose bundles here. Darkness, like a bunch of Sword and Shield, honestly. Pretty wild. Tons of Sword and Shield, 151, 380, very expensive for that ETB, in my opinion. 6 Evolving Skies, got some more C's, 151, Chinese, Gengar hit. Yeah, Silver Tempest, nothing too crazy here, but volume is still there. People are still buying, but it's a little bit more sealed than cards, it looks like, at least in this sample size. So, I think it's very interesting. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. Let me know what you guys have seen locally at your card shows too. If you vend, if you're selling, if you're buying, I'd like to see. Seems like a lot of vendors are buying and they're doing a little bit less selling at the moment, my experience. So yeah, Black Label Japanese Sun Bion. And yeah, just a lot of volume. So I think that kind of concludes this Monday market update. Anything I missed, definitely comment down below. I'll try to give my feedback where I can. Thank you again to the Shiny app for sponsoring this video. I think the giveaway for the White Flare bundle, including today, no, in 6 days. So you have until the 19th to get this guy. All you have to do is join my Discord, like, comment, subscribe. Want to help me out as well. Hit the little button in the Discord giveaway tab. You're good to go. Currently 173 entries, so pretty good odds in my opinion for something that's free. Yeah, guys, Surging Sparks, booster boxes, that's my main play right now. And that's it. We're just yapping now. Sorry about the nasally voice. Getting better. I feel good, but my voice, my nose is what it is. It's more nasally than normal. It is what it is. Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Enjoy your week. Goodbye.